Welcome to Shipping Insight TV, where we interview maritime industry thought leaders to learn their views on how industry's drive to optimize and innovate is shaping the future. Good day and welcome to Shipping Insight TV. I'm Carleen Lyden Walker, Chief Evolution Officer for Shipping Insight. And joining me today is Laurie, who is the Director for Maritime Retail at Inmarsat. Laurie, thank you for joining Shipping Insight TV.
Hi, Carleen. Thank you for having me.
Well, speaking of what's happening, we had you in October at Shipping Insight. Can you tell us what have been some of the developments since then?
Sure. Yeah, that was a fantastic event. And I think lots has happened since then. So lots of things I could list, but let me call out a few for you. So I think first and foremost, we're very proud that we completed our 10,000th Fleet Express ship installation, which I think is a real significant milestone for us. And that really demonstrates the shift in the shipping industry towards a sort of a beyond connectivity solution and digital ecosystem. And perhaps another thing to call out is how we've seen ship data consumption being doubled during 2020. In fact, in only 6 months, the average volume of data that we've seen downloaded on our vessels has gone from 4 gig to 8 gig, which is quite substantial. And I think whilst a lot of that is for crew connectivity, it's also very much a reflection of the increasing use of digital applications. And as we're closer to 50 application providers now, I think this really reflects the appetite in the market for going digital. And then perhaps also to mention, we're entering what we're terming now that Fleet Express 2.0 era as we move beyond the connectivity pipe and become that true digital platform. And this is all very much about IoT, business applications, crew connectivity, safety and security. And it's about continuing to develop that platform to remain the platform of choice when we look at tackling the major shipping industry challenges.
Excellent. You've been very busy. This is all happening during the era of COVID. What have you seen have been some of the impacts of COVID-19?
Well, I think the first major impact to raise is, as I've mentioned, the data usage. That's the most obvious one that we can see. And in particular for crew. We've seen that data volume double on board in a 6-month time frame. And unsurprisingly, COVID-19 has brought a major spike in data demand across all sectors for crew connectivity. And we're seeing demand for our fleet hotspot Wi-Fi solution in particular being very busy. And I very much hope that is helping to make the lives of crew on board just that little bit better. But the other area that we do see an impact is again in the digital side, and a good example of this trend is in remote access. So some of our customers, for example, have vessels equipped with a video link that's being used by the management company for audit purposes because it's impossible to join the vessel at the moment. Another example is where with Fleet Express installations and parts replacement, more is being carried out by our teams remotely. And I think it's fair to say that the fleet data platform is now very much delivering on its promise of smart shipping. And I think it's good to mention here that it's also making maritime as accessible for startup application providers, just as it is for corporates. So I think it's really helping to encourage and enable innovation in the shipping industry, even through this sort of really challenging time that we're experiencing.
Well, Laurie, a couple of times in this interview, you have referenced crew usage. Inmarsat has been a true leader in the crew change crisis and offering its services and developing services for relieving the plight of the mariner. Could you expand on that a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for asking me, because this is a topic which we're really passionate about at Inmarsat, and I've dedicated a lot of time on it, and quite rightly so. And if you think back to our origins of Inmarsat, 40 years ago, we were set up by the IMO to provide satellite communications to protect the lives of mariners anywhere at sea. You know, that was our origins, and we were the first satellite operator to meet the stringent requirements of GMDSS. So we've always had safety of life at sea first and foremost in our minds. And indeed, from my own personal experience, I spent a lot of time on ship in my early career, both in the forces and as a security consultant on board merchant and offshore vessels. You know, so I was away from home for 6 months at a time, and so acutely aware of what it's like to be away from home, away from family and loved ones for long periods of time. And as you mentioned, you know, you bring in with the current pandemic, you add in that crew change crisis, and seafarers are really faced with a tough, you know, unprecedented challenge on top of what's generally, you know, quite a difficult time anyway. And we recognise this at Inmarsat. And we've looked at ways that we can help in these times. And as the owner of the world's only globally available network that's delivered by a single operator, we were very quickly able to do some things to help make the lives of our seafarers that little bit easier. So the first thing to mention is, you know, we looked at the charities who are offering support and how can we help that process. So, you know, we looked at ensuring that all calls made to the Seafarer Help Service provided by the International Seafarers Welfare Assistance Network are available free of charge over our network to make sure that help is available and readily available. And then second, to promote seafarer wellbeing, we also formalised a 50% discount for crew voice calling services for a 6-month period. And then another thing to mention is how we made telemedicine available over our digital platform. And we were able to roll this out rapidly with our standard digital platform. And we launched a free of charge COVID-19 video call service with a trained health professional for our Fleet Express customers. And this was especially developed in conjunction with VCAND and Front End to help shipping cope with the impact of the crisis. And one last thing I mentioned is to go one step further and to make sure we're keeping an eye on the longer term. We published a research report titled Welfare 2.0, and that looks at the role of technology in crew welfare. And we also launched and funded the Crew Welfare Open Innovation Challenge with Shell Shipping, and are now running a proof of concept on fatigue management with startups Canary Sentinel and WorkRest. And this is a really exciting opportunity to improve the safety of crew at sea.
Well, congratulations on those initiatives, and thank you for serving the seafarers, because they truly are the workforce of global trade and have had many challenges in the last year. Well, speaking of initiatives, anything else you'd care to share with us on some forward-leaning projects you're working on?
Oh, Carleen, there's lots and lots in the pipeline, so I'm afraid you'll have to wait for that one.
Oh, well, I'll look forward to hearing more from Inmarsat and the developments that you are making to keep the world connected. Laurie Eve, Director of Maritime Retail, thank you so much for joining SHIPPInginsight TV.
Thank you very much.